Shannon, this begs the question, is Brock Purdy better than Trey Lance?
We just don't know. We haven't seen enough of either guy, Skip. This is what we know. They mortgaged their future for Trey Lance, and they were ready to move on from Jimmy G, who had taken them to a Super Bowl, and they had paid a ton of money. I believe they'll be ready to move on from Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant, because they still mortgage, and you're not going to trade Trey Lance for what you gave up to get him. You're not. So, Skip, I just don't know if we've seen enough from either guy. They have tremendous talent. They got playmakers. Christian McCaffrey has been a godsend. He's been unbelievable running and catching the football. Kittle can run and catch. He can block. Jennings made some big-time catches, and they did a lot of this without Debo. Man, Skip, that play that Kittle scored on fake double-screen watch check middle, I could never score on that play because the guy never left the middle of the field. Not Sharpe, we know what's coming up. I saw Brent Jones scoring it. Kittle scored on it. I think Kelsey's even scored on it. I could never get that.
The kid really ran it sweetly, though.
Yeah.
He sold it, and it worked.
Well, I could never find a linebacker like 56 that would go for the banana in the tailpipe trick.
Yep.
All them guys would stay home.
Yep.
But anyway, no, Skip, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't believe that they're going to give up on Trey Lance just this quick, considering that they gave up 2 first-rounders and they gave up a lot in order to get him. Now, Brock Purdy is playing unbelievable, Skip. They're playing complimentary football because they're not asking him to do a whole lot. And the guys he's hitting, he made a big-time run on third down, Skip, to basically seal the ball game.
He did.
But I haven't seen enough, Skip. And through nearly 3 full games, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, completing 67% of his passes, 68 QBR would be 5th in the league if he had qualified. Do I believe he's probably their guy over Jimmy G? Probably, but not Trey Lance, Skip. I just don't know if we've seen enough. But considering what they gave up to get Trey, ain't no way they can move on because you're not going to be able to. You can't say, okay, somebody, give me what we gave up to get him. Ain't nobody doing that. Nobody's going. No one is going to give them what they gave up to get Trey Lance. So I believe when Trey Lance is healthy, Trey Lance is going to be their starter. It's nice to know, Skip, I got a quality backup if need be.
Biggest picture point to everything you just said. If Kyle and Mike Shanahan do decide that Brock Purdy is just simply better than Trey Lance, I promise you they will move forward with Brock Purdy, whatever. They'll just cut losses. And it's big losses to cut.
Yeah, but Skip, do you know how that's going to look?
I got it.
Basically, you swung
I know,
and you missed.
but yeah, I got it. But sometimes you just say, life just dictated we got to do that because we can go places with him that we can't go with him. If that's it, I believe they're gutsy enough, they're strong-willed enough, they're swallow their own pride enough that at some point, if they have to cut bait with Trey Lance or try to trade him or whatever they would do to get rid of him, they would do that.
Right.
That's just me. But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I believe that they just would say that's how this game is played. That's what you have to do. Okay. Now, bigger picture. Back to your McCaffrey point before I get to this kid. Look at what McCaffrey did last night. He carried the ball 26 times. Look at the targets. Who got the most targets? He did.
Yep.
He got 8. He caught 6 of them for another, what did he have? 30 yards. I'm just going to say this again. I'm going to knock on wood before I say it, but boy, they're asking a lot of this smallish running back, and he is the greatest kid. We had him on the show back when we went to the Super Bowl
2020
years ago. You watched him grow up. Oh, what a great young man he is, but he's not the biggest kid.
No, he's not.
And he's running so hard. He's taking shots right and left. He's fighting for 1 more yard, 1 more foot on nearly every carry. But he is their driving force now because that means he touched the ball 32 times last night. And by the way,
30 of their 60.
Yeah, right, okay. And by the way, they were much more run-heavy than pass-heavy, which you certainly would do with the rookie quarterback who was the last pick in the draft on the road against what used to be an arch rival within the division. I don't know if they can live up to that right now. Okay, back to Brock Purdy. I told you, I watched him a ton at Iowa State because he started 48 games. I definitely watched him 4 times against Oklahoma, and I'm pretty sure I watched him some against Texas and Baylor and Oklahoma State and all those games. But when you get to start 48 college football games and you get to go to Norman, Oklahoma, and you get to go to Austin, Texas, and you get to go to Stillwater and Waco, you just gain experience on what it feels like before a a rowdy, raucous, hostile crowd. You know what it feels like, and he was always pretty good at Iowa State. I got to tell you, I'm eye testing this. He has played better all 3 times now that I've watched him play as a 49er than I ever saw him in any single game at Iowa State. That's the God's truth. Right now, 3 games. Right. Is that, should I honor Kyle Shanahan there? Should I just say I got to give him his credit for this? Okay, maybe. But this kid, you want to talk about some rookie poise? God, he just looks like he's been playing forever. Right. And he has been at Iowa State. Trey Lance played a very small body of work of games because he only started for 1 year, and then the pandemic came at North Dakota State.
He started 17 games, something like that?
I can't remember what it was, but it was just 1 year. Yeah. It was 1 year and then 1 game in the pandemic. Right. Well, and it's North Dakota State. Right. Okay? He didn't get to go to Norman or Austin or play before these 90,000 hostile crowds, right? Right. Okay. So I'm amazed because I went back and checked Lance Zierlein, who is an underrated great analyst for NFL.com, and he writes incredible capsules on these kids, on all the kids before they go to maybe I guess right after they come to the combine. I'm going to read you just a couple of lines out of what he wrote about Brock Purdy. He said he's a 4-year starter who is never able to improve upon a stellar sophomore campaign. And that is true because the last 2 years weren't very good. Mm-hmm. Said he needs a play-action-based offense where he can rely on timing over release quickness and arm strength because he doesn't have the biggest of arms. No, he doesn't. And it's a little bit of an awkward, slow release. It is. Okay? So here we go. He can be a confident passer when he finds his rhythm. He's found it all 3 games with the 49ers. But throwing is more of a chore than a talent thanks to a labored release. I buy that. I'm seeing that right now. Yeah. But it is working at a supremely high level because the kid's got a little moxie and he's got guts. And by the way, the best quote of the night came from Kyle Shanahan after the game. Remember, he was a game-time decision last night because he had an oblique pull. Mm-hmm. And Kyle said after the game that in pregame warm-ups, he still wasn't sure about him because he was laboring to do some things in pregame. Right. And they went with him, and Kyle's quote was that our team had a lot of respect for him before this game, but a lot more now because he toughed it out and gutted up because they all knew they were close to having to go to the backup, right? Yeah. Okay, so my point is that I'm pretty sure he will revert more to Lance Zierlein's critique of him than what we're seeing so far. And I also would like to make the case that last night he came out hot early. And then
completed the first 11.
He did, but then he missed 3 in a row. And if we could see the 4th pass in a row that he missed, if we could see this is at the 2-minute warning at the end of the first half.
Diggs dropped.
That's probably the longest ball he threw all night. And Diggs, you want to talk about getting hit in the hands.
Yeah, DB.
I mean, come on now. And if you catch it clean and you come down clean with it, I think you could run some. Mm-hmm. It looked like you could run for 15 or 20 yards, right? Mm-hmm. Well, all of a sudden, you're going to flip the script of what's going on because it's a 7-3 game at that point. Could you at least get a field goal out of that against the best defense in football? Probably you could get a field goal. Could you have gone to halftime at 7-6 and it'd feel like a football game? Right. Yeah, probably.
Maybe even 10-7. Who knows?
Maybe. Who knows? 10-7. It did force the punt, and all of a sudden, Seattle started to move the ball again, and then on a 2nd and 5 at their 35, Travis Homer takes a little pass from Geno, and he makes the first down. He's going to make the first down, and kaboom, guess who? It's Brady's favorite player, right? It's Dre Greenlaw. Okay, and off to the races goes Ward and runs it all the way down to whatever it was, the 6-yard line. Well, you want to talk about flipping the script. Yep. Okay, and all of a sudden, that's game over to me. Because against that defense and Geno, you got no chance. But my point is, how different would the night have been for young Brock Purdy if Diggs catches the interception? All of a sudden, he's like, uh-oh, what did I just do? Because they have played 0 clean football. Like they haven't turned it over one time with Brock Purdy at the helm. Right. Well, that'll work. That was almost one right there. Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes, Skip, that's what it takes. Guys dropping it, or and you flip it, and all of a sudden they didn't miss their opportunity because we've seen Dallas get stripped, Skip, and the tackle jumps on the football. Now, Maybe an eagle was around and he jumps on the football and did no harm, no foul.
Agreed.
But there was no one around but 49ers.
Yeah.
They scoop it up, run it back, they get a touchdown. And what could have possibly been a 7-6, maybe 10-7 Seattle.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it's 14-3 Seattle.
Yeah. I don't think Drake Greenlaw went to Travis Homer after the game and said, would you sign this ball for me? I don't think so. But anyway, the point is that Brock Purdy is like Mac Jones in that what'd you keep pushing for before the draft? Well, Mac's the readiest to play, right?
Yeah.
That's over Trey Lance.
Right.
Well, yeah, he is, because he played a whole lot of big-time football at that place.
Right. At Alabama.
Yeah, it's Coach Saban's place.
Alabama's a little different than North Dakota State.
I'd say. Okay, so what have I seen so far from Trey Lance? Not much.
Right.
And I'm his biggest supporter. I said that's where I would go.
Injury-prone guy right now, Skip. There's no way around that. I see an injury-prone guy.
Okay, he's been injury-prone. But what do we know about him? He's 6 feet 4 inches tall and goes, I don't know, 230-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. Mm-hmm. And he can run with the football.
Right. He got a big-time arm.
Listen, I believe he's got twice the arm that Brock Purdy has.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the measurables are there.
Yeah.
Not sure about the intangibles, but as everybody says, he is a great kid who is a gym rat.
Right.
Nobody will work harder at it than Trey Lance. Yet so far, I haven't seen anywhere near the poise under fire that I've seen from Brock Purdy.
Right.
And it may be just body of work.
Right.
He just hasn't played the position enough, right?
No.
So I'd be the first to tell you, I want to see more of Trey Lance, and I need him to stay healthier.
Yeah, the only thing that I've seen enough of from Trey Lance's injury, I've seen enough of those injuries.
Yep.
Hopefully he can stay healthy, stay on the field, because with that system and the way Kyle called plays, Skip, they got playmakers, and that's what they got. Because he hit Brandon Ayuk, Seattle probably wouldn't even got another touchdown if Ayuk holds on to the ball, because it was a first down yard, and he hit him right in the chest.
He hit him in the chest. It was just really good throw.
He hit him in the chest.
I agree.
He couldn't throw it any better than what he threw it.
Okay, and you raised the question of that final play. Kyle trusted this kid to make an option play call on the rollout play, if we could see the 3rd and 1 play, because this is for the football game, because it's 21-13 at this point, so it's still a football game. And he rolls out and he keeps it, and he slid, and they obviously challenged it, but he had gotten the ball, he extended it, and before his knee was down, the ball's
and he's smart enough to know that, Skip. Look what he does. He extends the ball while sliding. I've never seen quarterbacks don't do that.
Yeah, and he has some athletic ability.
Yeah.
I don't believe he has nearly as much as Trey Lance does.
No.
He did run 4.8 at the combine, and we get all caught up in 4.2 and 4.3. But listen,
that's decent for a quarterback.
4.8 is decent.
Yeah.
Because he's a fairly big kid. He's 6'1", maybe 215-ish, somewhere in there, 220-ish. But my point is, if you can run 4.8, you got some wheels.
Yeah, that's plenty. As long as you ain't Brady, you running what, the 5'2", 5'3"?
No. Once you get in the fives, it's over. Yeah, you're a statue.
Unless you're a 300-pound, 320, 30-pound offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Fives are okay. Any other position, 5 might not be okay.
Well, all I got to say is the Shanahans now have a great problem. That's what they have, a great problem, because him,
Skip, they won a few games with Nick Mullins. If you look at some of the games that they won when Jimmy G was hurt, with some of the quarterbacks they was winning those games with, you like, man, Kyle's a genius.
Genius.
Because ain't no way they're supposed to be winning games with those guys.
Maybe he's just a chip off the old block.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
He might be a little bit more exotic. I don't know. He might be a little bit more exotic in the run game than his dad.
Yeah.
We were just a pitch and a toss, a handoff and a toss.
I know, but you didn't have to get creative, because you just ran it right down people's throats.
They don't have a TD, and they didn't have the offensive line is close now. Their offensive no, they're not close, because they only got one guy. Trent Williams, probably the only guy that's going to start for us. Trent Williams.
I guess
Ain't nobody else starting. They're not starting over Stink. No. Tommy Nalen went to like 5 or 6 Pro Bowls. We had T-Bone at the right tackle during that first Super Bowl. Skip.
Who's the left tackle? I can't remember.
Gary Zimmerman.
Well, he's
a two-time All-Decade player. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
That's it.
And we didn't do no chipping. We didn't do no nothing. Whoever was over there, be it DT or whoever it was, Zim got him. Keep it moving.
Next.
Well, guys, Aaron Rodgers and Brock Purdy are now the only 2 quarterbacks since 1950 to have passer ratings of 115 or better in their first 2 starts.
Wow.
Not bad company for Brock Purdy.
Pretty good.
Let's get back to your Cowboys, Skip. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.